Hi, friends. Welcome back. It is so good to see you. I hope that you are having a great week so far. I am not wasting any time in this video. I'm just going to jump right into it because I had some laundry and some chores that I needed to get done. And you'll see here in a minute, I was behind in the kitchen on dishes just because we have been canning green beans. So, this video is going to be let's just chat and catch up for whatever this video is 11 minutes. And I'll tell you what's been going on this week and all of that. But where do we even start? Well, you know that my brother, he has chronic leukemia and he's 40 years old. Well, about every 6 months, twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year, he has to go and spend a week in the hospital. He swells up with fluid tremendously, and he has just a slew of health problems. Diabetes, high blood pressure, it's a severe sleep apnea, you just name it. My poor brother, he has so many things going against him. He had a widowmaker heart attack, so the front part of his heart, it doesn't function. A widowmaker heart attack, that's the main valve in your heart, and it's called a widowmaker because not many people survive that because it is such a severe heart attack. But his heart has actually been down and functioning at 2% before, which is a true miracle, as what the doctor said, that he stayed alive with his heart functioning at 2% during all of that. But, anyways, this time was no different. He went to the hospital and he come home yesterday. He had been there a week. Well, he swelled up with fluid and they removed 80 pounds of fluid off of his body. Can you just imagine 80 pounds of fluid on you? No wonder you can't breathe. No wonder your body's not working right. So they removed that off of him, but his kidneys were very close to kidney failure. They were functioning very, very low. And then his heart was functioning at 10%, which is heart failure. Anything below 40% is heart failure. So, we've been going back and forth to the hospital. He's been in the hospital that I go to see the OBGYN and, my regular doctor as well, which is an hour and a half away. So we've been going back and forth to the hospital and all of that. But hey, you know what? I honestly didn't know if he was going to pull through it this time, but by the grace of God, he did, and he's back at home, until the next time. So I always pray for him. It's just heartbreaking, and I really wish the best for him. But so that's actually positive news. And I've been trying to stay very calm this week and not be stressed out because that's not what's good for baby to be stressed out. So I've just been, really trying to take care of myself in that way. By the way, as of today, we are officially 12 weeks. And I asked the OBGYN, I said, I'm sorry, I am kind of ignorant to this, but what is considered to be the second trimester? And she told me 12 to 13 weeks. So actually, next week, I go in for another scan and the diabetes testing and the blood work and all of that. So next Wednesday, I'm hoping that I get to see baby. Anyways, I was going to put the laundry into the dryer and I realized that I had some clothes in there that I needed to get out and fold. So that's what I've got to work on now. But then another big thing has actually been happening this week too, because I've had to start taking a blood thinner shot, Lovenox. And that has been awful because every time that somebody takes my blood or, gives me a shot or anything like that, I have to close my eyes and turn my head because I have a phobia of like needles and shots and I do not like them whatsoever. And so my husband has been having to give me these shots, and every single shot is excruciating. I'm talking, it feels like a wasp has stung me and it hurts so bad for like 30 minutes. Well, we have been researching it and I was like, I cannot do this. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to be able to hurt like this every single day. And of course, we've talked about the pros and the cons, but because I do have, an extreme blood clotting disorder, I have the MTHFR mutation gene. My husband has that. And I have a slew of other issues, that this is necessary to keep me from slinging a clot or growing a clot into the placenta and losing the baby, because this is, my fifth pregnancy. I'm sorry, this is my sixth pregnancy, and I've had 5 previous miscarriages. So, anyways, it's something I have to do, but we've been doing some other tricks, like we put an ice pack on my stomach, and he went in a little bit slower with the needle and put it at an angle. And so that seemed to help last night. It didn't hurt as bad. I guess that's what they talk about when they talk about that the needle is, or the shot is uncomfortable, because that's what it was last night. But what I have been experiencing is excruciating pain. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this, and you have to do it even 6 weeks after you deliver the baby. And I'm also on aspirin every day. I'm on an extreme amount of blood thinner, but anyways, I guess that the risk of the medication is beneficial, and I actually need it. So if that's what I have to do, everybody keeps telling me, hey, it's going to be worth it. You just hang in there. My husband keeps telling me, be strong. But my bump, it is bumping. This is my 6th pregnancy. So usually when you've had, more than one pregnancy, that, you do start to show a little bit sooner. And in my first trimester, I have gained 10 pounds, and I was a little bit discouraged about that, because most of the time they only recommend that you gain like 3 to 5 pounds during the first trimester. Well, anyways, my OBGYN said I gained 10 pounds in the first trimester, and she's super fit too. She's like, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's going to be fine. So now that I am coming into the second trimester, and I am starting to have a little bit more energy, and I am not deathly sick, I have been able to walk more and, do my arm exercises and all of that. And besides that, you already know your nannies just, oh my goodness, they swell up and they're so huge. I'd say 5 pounds of what I've gained is right there. That's just the truth. But we ended up canning 50 something jars of beans. We lost 2 of them. We used Harvest lids instead of the ball lids, and they're just not as good. So we did end up losing 2 jars. But as far as the beans, we did Frankshaw beans, and then we did a Malibu bean. And those Malibu beans, some of them were 8 and 9 inches long. But we got all of the beans that we want, because we still have tons of storage. Maybe sometime I'll be able to take you and show you what all that we have, stockpiled up. We don't keep it here because this is not our permanent residence, but I'll show you what all we have stockpiled up. So 50 something jars to add to our stockpile is really nice for us. It's appropriate. But now that we've done all of our canning, we've had, like 3 or 4 people from church come out and help them pick beans, all the beans that they want. Like one of our church family, their green beans did not make it this year. In the drought, they did not make it. So they come and they picked all the beans that they wanted and come back, 2 times. So none of our beans actually went to waste, and they turned out so beautiful on those poles, and they grew so tall, and we just praise God for the green beans. Now, the one thing that didn't make it for us is potatoes. We only had like 6 potato plants that survived, which that's okay, we had a hard time deciding on whether we were even going to do a garden this year, just because my mother-in-law passed away in October, and things are just, it's just not the same. It's just not as exciting without her here. So we waited to the very last minute, and we were also in a drought. So, I mean, you just simply cannot plant a garden when you're at a drought. And since we are on the mountain, we're at a higher elevation. So you have to do it at whatever elevation that you're at and whatever, your ground is like and all of that. But anyway, so it was a little bit of a later start. So our potatoes, they didn't make it. But nobody is really, really into canning and gardening this year. It's just, our hearts just, it's just not there. But, we do have to keep these skills alive. We need to know how to do these things and not forget them. So, I don't think that I'm going to harvest tomatoes this year either. I didn't plant any Roma tomatoes. We just did beefsteaks and then, like the little cuties for salads and things. Beefsteaks are my favorite for sandwiches and stuff because they're not as juicy. So I'm probably not going to can them this year or do any kind of salsa or pasta sauce or anything like that, which you actually can with beefsteak. You just have to cook them longer. Instead of having to cook them 4 or 5 hours, you have to cook them 7, 8 hours, but I don't know. I don't know if anybody's heart's into that. I always transfer my coffee into this Folgers can just because it makes it easier. And I'm not drinking as much coffee these days. I'll have about half a cup, every day or every other day or something like that. But we just needed some more coffee, so I did pick some up. But this is just going to be a short, chatty catch-up video. I'm thinking of you. I love you. I'm praying for you. I hope that you're still fighting that good fight of faith. God is faithful, and we can trust Him, y'all.